Okay. Oh, and I gotta get out of here. Welcome back, heathens. We got the death pumpkin, I guess, swapped with the crew cab in the shed. And I've secured the shed to the car, or the car to the shed. So yeah, now we're gonna go check out the crew cab. All right, so as some of you may have already seen, I got a little something going on for the crew cab. It's like the Atkins diet or the opposite. Have more carbs. Ooh. That's gotta go. All right. So this thing's running a 850 brawler. Like a Holly. It is a Holly. Off of that. Radiator hose. Pass hose. We're gonna need this. There we go. Just like that. It's that easy. So, like I said, you guys have probably seen already, but I have a dual quad Wien tunnel ram. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna set it all on there, and I've got some things I need to, I'm going to set it all on there. I got some things I need to figure out. I don't have everything for this yet, but that's kind of why I didn't know what I needed or what I don't need till it's on the car. So we'll go ahead and set the tunnel ram on the car and kind of see any issues that may pop up and hopefully resolve them. I kind of set it on here once already, and oddly enough the valve covers are kind of in the way, so I think if I take one off I can kind of wiggle it in there. And it might be time for some new valve cover gaskets. Yep. Okay, so I kind of saw this, but the distributor yeah. So what I'm gonna have to do is we'll put run the motor to top dead center, put the distributor where it needs to be, and then put the firing order back on the cap where it needs to be, regardless of where that vacuum pot's pointing, I guess. It doesn't matter. Number one. You can actually have number one way back here if you wanted, as long as it followed the order back the other way. So we'll get that out of the way and turn, and then we can set this all the way on there and then see what it looks like. I'll just turn it there maybe. Okay, now the I think that's lined up. Oh, are these valve covers gonna work? You gonna take both of them off? Huh. Wonder why that is. Boy, it's tight. Okay. So there is enough room here. So like I said, we got it rolled over to number 1. So we just gotta put all the wires back on in accordance with the firing order, with that being at number 1. Because the cap's got a locating notch, so it's gotta live where it's gotta live. And let's do that for now. Set it on there. Let's put the rest of it on there. Nice. We're gonna have to pan up. Ooh. All right, that looks badass. I tell you what, I've wanted a hole in the hood of this car for quite a while now. The first thought was a roots blower, but I think I'd have to reconfigure my engine, compression ratio, stuff like that. So, and it's expensive, so I guess tunnel ram it is. Let's get right down to the fender here. Yeah. Maybe it'll shut. Oh, there we go. We're touching. So, no, it does not shut. Can we? Nope, doesn't shut. That's all right. I've got another hood we're going to cut. Okay, let's get into some of the things I got to overcome yet. I just noticed this, though. So, it's a little proud here, and it's touching there, and it's gap. So it's got to like, it's got to do this a little bit. Those valve covers should, I don't know. Are they going to bend out of the way? No, they're not. They're cast. So I might have to clearance the valve covers a little. Not a big deal, I don't think. The one thing I am wondering about is the thermostat housing. Because that is right there. And the hose. So, for now, I got, this is the hose that came off of it. I think it actually came off the Barracuda. But I trimmed it down right there, and it seems to fit a little better. I mean, it's still touching it. Once it's on there, if the magnet would quit sticking to everything. There. Magnet. So it is touching, but I mean, maybe I could put a little piece of hose with a zip tie, like a chafe guard. And this motor is solid mounted to the car, so any shaking should be in unison or whatever. An angled housing would be the best, but there's not. Yeah, they make them or whatever, but it's like a billet, $50-something. It's, I don't know. So, the other issue is the fuel line. So, here's what we got is so the Edelbrock uses a I believe it's a 5/8 thread, 5/8 18 or 5/8 20, and it's not a pipe. It's not pipe thread. And I'd like to use this. We have a couple of these, and this is inverted flare. Well, you can't. There's nothing for this to back into in the Edelbrock. So what Holley does is they have the carburetor body is way bigger, like where it threads in. So they make this, it's inverted flare to whatever this is, thread for the Holley, and then it goes together. Okay, easy enough. So I think I found some for the Edelbrock. They're the same thing. But I'm like, well, I go to the hardware store. Well, that turned into a fiasco. I found this side of it, and this is pipe thread. Well, I didn't know this was not pipe thread. So I got an adapter, a bushing adapter, and it goes together. But then it's still pipe thread. So, yeah. Now they sell this, the proper thing, like this, but for the Edelbrock. But there again, it's like 20 bucks a shot, which I'm probably stuck on getting it because I went to 3 different hardware stores. You know, this here I had put together at the hardware store. Made 2 of them, obviously, like a dummy, and can't use them. So that was like 15 bucks right there. So I was, whatever. So I have to get that. That's the fuel issue. Now the other, not it, or yeah, kind of an issue, I guess, is, so I know how I'm gonna hook the linkages together, right? So they go, it's gonna be 1-to-1. I got the little kit with the Heim joints and the correct bushings. Now this manifold is old school. This carb spacing is like 9 inches. And I don't know how they measure it, but I'm measuring from air cleaner stud to air cleaner stud. Now you look in the book and stuff, and they make a fuel line kit. Going back to that, they make a fuel line kit for the Edelbrocks, but it's like a 6 7/8 carb spacing. So I would still have to, I get the fittings and everything, but I'd still have to cut up the intermediate hose in between and put a longer one in there. And I've got this fancy, not that fancy because it still has hose clamps. They're kind of chintzy looking. But whatever, I have this already, and this goes on there. It's the right length. So So this carb spacing is funny, or different, I guess. So I got the linkage from carb to carb figured out. Well, now it's the throttle. So I've seen some set up with like a bell crank down here, but that's sideways mounted carbs. And I'm not doing that. These are in line. Well, and naturally I figured, well, we'll just go grab the back carburetor. But I mean, look at your throttle cable then. It's just, that's just a hilarious bend. I don't like that. So why can't a guy grab the front carburetor and make a bracket off of here to hold it? I mean, your linkage is still going to be there. You're just pushing on this one versus pulling on this one. I think that's the route I'm going to go. We've got, these are factory style standoffs for the intake, you know, obviously way down there. I know we've been through this. They make a different spacing, and like that one is off, you know, down there too, but I think they make a narrower one, and we've got just piles of this in a 5-gallon bucket. So that's, dang magnet. So that's that. And this will be my crankcase ventilation, I guess. It's a hole. I put a barb fitting in it. Boy, that distributor's tight back there. Ugh. So, I mean, other than that, yeah. Everything's looking really clean too, like down the intake runners. Well, now I covered them up. But my fancy rocker shafts, everything's still good and tight, which is great considering I built it. So there it is. We got a few little things. I guess the biggest thing is going to be, it's not the biggest thing, but moving that firing order around. And I wished I would have seen that before I took the car apart, because I would have moved, because the car was known good running. So I would have moved the plug wires around beforehand and made sure it started as well as it always does. So when we do go to start this, that's a variable we're not dealing with. Oh, why doesn't, you know, but we'll have to just come to that. I am going to run one choke on the rear carb. This car actually still has the wire for the electric choke. When this Eldebrock used to be on the car, I had it hooked up and it worked great. I'm going to take this choke off. I don't know how far off I'm going to take it. Maybe just this part of it. Maybe the, I don't know. We'll see how that turns up. Yeah, so we got to get the firing order resituated, figure out the valve cover clearances, and then I'm going to bolt at least the lower plenum on, because we can. Yeah. All right. I don't know if this is a video or not, so like, share, subscribe, comment. What do you think about the linkage? Grabbing the front carburetor. Maybe it's traditional you use the rear carburetor, but I don't see what the difference is. And I don't like that super kink that's happening with the throttle cable. And we got, you know, return spring brackets and all that jazz, but that's easy enough. I just want it clean. I don't want, you know, I don't need a bunch of extra. I'd like it as basic looking, clean as possible, because you're gonna see it all the time. All right, heathens. Let us know what's going on. See ya.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna